What's going on, guys? It's Matt Marinoff, Real Estate Recovery Group. My guest today is Glen Baker, Agent 2.0. Glenn, are you like James Bond, like 007?
No, you try talking to my shoe. 99.
Dude, that's 99. Get smart.
Showing age.
Showing age. I guess you're older than me because talking to a shoe, I thought it was like something from Miley Cyrus. I'm like that. Guys, we've got Glen Baker on today. I'm happy to have Glen on for a couple different reasons. Glen and I are friends. We've been friends now for a little while. Going on 2 years.
Yep, 2 years.
And Glen is a little bit different than most agents. And I say this wholeheartedly. Can you hear the dog barking in the background?
I do. It's okay.
I feel like my neighbor brings my dog out on purpose. Anyway, wanted to have Glen on it because Glen understands my quest, people before profit. Later on in the show, we'll be talking about something very near and dear to him. But the importance of having Glen on today is because I want to talk about 2020, talk about 2020 real estate. I want to talk about what's going on, what's been going on for the last 7 months in real estate. And what we're going to be looking forward to. Is this the new normal? Are you going to be basically buying suits with matching masks, bikinis with matching, cover-ups and matching masks? Are you going to be able to eventually go back to gentlemen's clubs? Are they going to be screaming on the pole? Are they going to be wearing masks? I don't know these questions. And I know Glen doesn't know the answer either. But Glen Baker, everybody. Glen, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glen, sorry about the late start today. Social distancing with the school, with the learning. It's been a little bit of a nightmare, as you can imagine.
Yep.
So, Glen, let's get right into it. You learned, man. I don't know. I just don't know you.
Okay.
And now maybe seeing you for the first time. When I have people come back for the second time, I don't know what your bio. Can you tell people a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, and why you are Agent 2.0?
Sure. So my background is a serial entrepreneur. Started and sold 3 different companies. The last one was for about $91 million. I was chief information officer for many, many years, so a technologist at heart. I love tech, surround myself with it. I believe that it's the way of the future, and not just simply from a marketing perspective, but a way that we interact with each other. So I take advantage of that. I dig it. When we talk tech, I talk everything tech. I often kid around because I use the hashtag dinosaur slayer, and you'll see my COVID mask has dinosaurs on it very intentionally, because I look at it like if you're resistant to what the people want, you will ultimately lose. And I cater to what the people want, which is information in the palm of their hand, without delay, and most importantly, without any kind of hooks attached to it. You talk to me, now you have to pay me. No, that's not the way it works. If you talk to me and I give you great advice, you're going to want to pay me. So it's one of those things that I just believe in abundance. So
I want to ask this question. Dave Finale talks about people go on listing appointments, and most people should be going on a listening appointment. Big difference between a listening and a listening.
yes.
Do you think that's somewhat of your success? Because I know you like to listen a lot. You like to listen more than talk.
Yeah, I think it really boils down to 2 things when it comes to listing appointments. So one is you got to understand what if a person's motivated, right? If they really want to do this deal, and is there a reason behind it? And also, if you're not actively listening, you don't know where they're going to, all the hidden clues that they're going to leave along the way, right? But it's about listening and then asking leading questions to get to the underlying motive. And if you do that, you read their body language and you're doing the right thing, which I stress is super important. If you do the right thing with that, all things turn out well.
That's great. So I have a couple of questions I'm going to ask you. Some of them you might be able to answer. Some of them you might not be able to answer.
Yep.
And I hate to put you in a hot seat, but I think it's important. I think you're a big boy. And you did sell your last company for $91 million, right?
Yes, sir.
Question 1. How has 2020 treated you so far?
So I think, I mean, the numbers kind of speak for 2020. So obviously everyone had shock and awe when we first got locked down. I said to myself, well, I've got two ways to do this. I can make a ton of phone calls and care about a ton of people, or I can go to social media and push the information out. And I did both of those things actively, working 20 hours a day all through COVID. And if I was to say that business didn't slow down between March and May, I'd be a liar. But what I did was I queued everything up. So as soon as we got to June, it came on. And as it stands now, a ton of transactions. I took the number one spot for closed transactions in the office, and I'm at the 2-year mark, and there's people that are at the 30-year mark. So obviously, I'm doing something different and right. But I also, kind of like you, Matt, it's the people before profit. So I have a terrific team admin who is my wife, and she often says to me, "What commission did you make on that?" I have no idea. I honestly have no idea on any of my transactions. She manages the books. I get a paycheck that's W-2. I'm not a commissioned person. In my eyes, I pay the company, and then the company pays me. And I don't look at people like their commissions. I treat everyone the same exact way, and man, it pays off. I'm up on roofs cleaning off gutters, you name it, and people get it. Like they want someone who's in it with them. So
I saw a picture of you. So you have a different spin. You have a different outlook on it. I saw a picture of you. It looked like you were hanging off a rafter above a fireplace doing demo work. Is that correct?
Yeah, we tore out in 2 hours an entire room. It was really cool.
You're not the normal real estate agent, right?
I get it. That's why you want to work with me, right? That's the reason why. I don't look at a room and go, oh, look at the pretty trim. Look at the pretty paint. And that's why I think I have such a low fall through rate, Matt. It's like ridiculous because I don't let my clients get into houses that have trouble.
So, my thing is, it is people before profit. I think the problem that I run into with people is if somebody reaches out to me, not only here in New Jersey, but in other states, they're like, well, if I bring a deal to you, how much of a referral do I get? And I'm thinking to myself, if you're a real estate agent and you want a referral from me, we're not going to work. Because then you don't get my concept. I don't make any money off of the real estate transaction from the real estate commission. My company gets paid separately.
Yep.
When somebody's coming at me already and they're looking to make money on a transaction, I mean, it's not a fit. And I've gotten everywhere between FU to, you're not as real as people say you are. I mean, I think that's pretty real. I don't like to talk about money. Also, I like to talk about commitment of trying to help somebody. And let me see if I can help. If you're going to come at me from the beginning and you're going to say to me, hey, how much of a referral want to get? I don't even know if I want to take your client as a client.
Yeah.
So I think there's a mixed signal on how people get trained. I think people are trained completely improperly, but also inappropriately. And they're more driven towards how many units can they sell. And I think that the whole concept of, and this is going to be crazy, the whole concept of customer service is a thing of the past. So in 2020, I'm asking, how's it treating you? You seem pretty positive, pretty upbeat about it. Whereas I'm talking with other real estate agents that don't even want to come on live, that were some heavy hitters that are in some serious deep depression. What's your thought on that?
So no, I get the depression piece. I put up a video right after we got locked down on the 12th saying we are coming in on the worst mental health crisis that the world has ever seen, specifically the U.S. ever seen. And I truly believe that's the case. And a lot of real estate agents dumped out of the market. A lot of them retired. A lot of them don't want to do that work anymore because of the risk that's associated. I get it. Like, if I was over 60, I'd certainly be scratching my head wondering what I was going to do. But on the other side of it, there is a ton of agents. I've heard that all the licensing enrollment courses are through the roof right now, and they're doing them virtually, which makes them completely accessible, right? So what we're going to now have is a bunch of agents that dump into the market. And as anyone who's gone through real estate school knows, you know nothing when you come out of real estate school other than how to stay out of jail. Right? You just do to stay out of legal issues. You don't know how to sell. You don't know how to do a business. You don't know how to make a deal. And that is a problem because very honestly, most brokerages don't have an ability to do that on an individual basis. And even my own team, we do, I do what's called morning calls, right? And the morning call is a walk-on call at 8 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I literally go through my morning routine with them live on a video, and I show them exactly what I do every day. And it's a challenge for everybody to do those routines because there's certain activities that you either win with in real estate or you don't. And if you pair that up with the depression you're talking about, and you can't get out of bed and you can't get up and do those things, of course, life is going to be miserable. And then it's a rut. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You keep going through that loop. And it's a shame because they were clearly top performers for a reason. But boy, this is, and we're coming into a really crappy time of year, right? The seasonal disorders that come into play and depression that comes from being gray days.
Yeah.
It's bad news. Bad news.
So how would you consider, based on what's going on with COVID-19, impacting your actual business?
For me, it's actually been beneficial, as it may sound. And please don't take anything that I'm saying as I'm being lighthearted about COVID, because I've lost 7 people to this, right? I get it. It's as serious as a heart attack. But on the other hand of it, demand has never been higher. Interest rates have never been lower. I literally, I kid you not, the phone rang right before we got on, and it's a person who said, this is the exact house I want to buy it. I never talked to him before in my life, but they found me on social media and they said, you know the neighborhood, we want to do this. I pick up a call a day like that because it's so busy. And I've already started complete handoffs to the team too on tons of leads, because you can never squander a lead. You never hold a lead without passing off to someone who can take advantage of it. And I'm seeing a lot more distribution that I've never seen before. I thought I was going to be 6 months away from doing that kind of generation and distribution, and now we're here already. So the way to put it is, it's insane. I mean, I've already, I'm a year 2 agent, holding #1 place in closed transactions right now in the office. And I'm on target to do about 70 deals. And I moved way up in the price range opposed to what I did in my year 1. So there are higher margin deals as well. And every single one of them is a 5-star review. So I look at it like my challenge in 2020 is, how do you maintain that level of customer service and still do that number of transactions? And it's not easy. Like I will not tolerate falling short for a client. It's just not acceptable.
Glenn, let me ask you a question. Do you think your success is because of the marketing, or do you think your success is, well, hey, I know this guy Glenn, and maybe he can help you sell or buy a house?
So I have a big sphere. I have an advantage over a lot of folks. I mean, I've actually sat in offices with CEOs and CFOs of the 400 of the Fortune 500 companies, right? So I certainly have a sphere that helped me from my business life. I also know how to run a company. And by the way, I'm terrible. I'm great at deal making, terrible at financials. I always hired people to do the financial piece of all my deals because I know my weaknesses. But on the deal side, I think I just have a perspective that there's always a way to make something work. And I don't get tied up in, oh, that has a home inspection issue, that deal's a pain in the butt. No, I look at it like, yeah, I'm going to solve that and get 20 more. And I never worry about the next deal. I know a lot of agents are like, ooh, I can't wait to get that listing. And I'm like, I can't wait to get 100 at the same time. I always look at that bigger goal. So I guess to answer your question, it's more so my entire background and starting 3 companies, almost foreclosing, because I wanted to pay payroll for it. Putting up with all those things over all my corporate years, I brought them over here. And it's like the perfect environment because you don't have that in real estate most of the time. You don't have people with that kind of discipline and understanding of how business operates. And like I said to you earlier, I get a paycheck, a W-2. All of my commissions go into Morris Agent Corporation, and I take a paycheck. And the reason why is I treat this like a company through and through.
Why do you do that, Glenn? Because most people are 1099s in real estate, the bulk of people. Why do you run it? Why do you run your real estate name, company, whatever it is that you did? You just called it a company.
Yeah, I'm Morris Agent Corporation. It's incorporated, S Corp.
And the reason for doing that was?
I want to eventually be able to offer health and 401k benefits to employees. So I formulated it like it's a formal company, but secondarily, it was for my own selfish purposes. My entire life, no matter what company I've had, I've always had a W-2 paycheck, and I was not going to become one of those real estate agents that's chasing their taxes and chasing everything under the sun because they didn't put the money away. I pay my taxes just like everyone else on a W-2. It comes from the corporation. All of my revenue goes into the corporation. So it works for me model-wise. It works for me where I'm going with the company. We own some assets which are ever growing the company. So I have a real estate company that I can eventually sell when I decide to get out of the business, opposed to something that just fades away like most agents.
Pretty smart. So you would say COVID-19 really put you guys in the right position, the right place. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say this wholeheartedly. I'm not even kidding when I say this. You were almost making a mockery of the face of a real estate agent, because you're not really a real estate agent. You are Agent 2.0. I know you're calling yourself that, but you really are Agent 2.0.
I came to real estate because I saw that there was a need for change. And that's one thing I can say through all of my corporate years. Definitely a catalyst to change. I don't play with tradition. I rarely eat at the same restaurant twice. I don't vacation the same place twice. I believe that there's far too much to do and far too much to change. So I don't get tied up in nonsense. I don't get tied up in the, oh, well, we used to use books to bring this out, or we used to use these devices to get in the doors. I'm like, no. Can I use my watch? I can't wait till you put something in my brain and I can open it by thinking it. Like, I can't wait for that stuff.
Mm-hmm. You're definitely a tech person. What do you say to real estate agents that are calling you now and going, hey, how did you get this? Has anybody called you and say, hey, how did you get this listing? I was trying to get this listing.
Yeah.
You had that phone call yet?
I have been up against some folks, and I find that traditional real estate agents, when I meet them out on listings, we don't talk about it type thing. But I have other ones where they're like, where are you sourcing so many? And the reality was, all I did was focus on a particular marketplace that I knew really well. And then it grew from there, because the skills, I don't care where you are in North Jersey, you can sell a house because the numbers exist, the data exists, all that stuff exists. When people get hung up on, oh, well, there's you don't know about the school systems. I'm like, I can Google that in 12 seconds. That edge is gone now. So it's about pricing it, marketing it, not underselling it, which a lot of agents they do. So when you see these houses and you hear everyone say the house bid up $55,000, I'm pretty much guarantee you the house was priced wrong in the first place, right? I get it that houses are bidding up, but so the data's there, and I think that's the edge. I just believe in AI. I believe in machine learning. I believe in. I don't hate Zillow. I'm an agent that doesn't hate Zillow, so it's just the way it works.
I mean, look, everybody has their certain niche, or some people say niche, in an industry. My niche is short sales.
Mm-hmm.
I've been called all types of different names as related to the short sale aspect of it. I've almost got it down to a science. It's an art in what we do. And I can see where agents feel resistance in wanting to work with my company because they're comfortable. It's that pair of jeans that you're only washing twice a month.
Yep.
Because they're comfortable. It's that old jean jacket from when you were, in your teens, when you're in your 30s and your 40s, and it still fits.
Yep.
It's the vehicle where, you leased it and then you decided you want to buy it. Not so much because of, hey, I'm going to save money on the car payment, but you feel comfortable.
Yep.
I can tell you that over the last 12 months, I forced myself to come out of my comfort zone with things that I do personally for my business that I never would have done before. And all I'm doing is staying out of my comfort zone, because you would know what I do. When this thing hit 7 months ago, people were so paralyzed by, oh my God, what do I do now? They turned off their lead gen. They literally stayed in their house.
Yep.
They went out and bought as much goddamn toilet paper as they could buy, and paper towel. Purell, I don't even think the company's in business anymore. I'm only kidding. But you don't see a lot of Purell products. The product that they're putting out now is absolutely disgusting. It's gross.
Yep.
I've actually had to purchase designer hand sanitizer that normally would have cost $4 that I'm paying $12 for.
Yep.
So what I'm trying to say is that things are going to change. Is real estate ever going to be normal again? What is normal? Honestly, here's my opinion. You're a techie. I'm really not. I'm a fake pretend techie. But I'll tell you this. People are like, do you know that I actually had to hire somebody to come in and do a virtual tour for a house that I actually had to hire a company to have one of these sorcerers fly around and do a visual of the neighborhood. And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, if COVID-19 didn't hit, and it is, mark my words, it is literally thinning out the herd of dinosaur real estate agents, the people that were never involved in tech. They're hiring people to do it because it's a sign of the time. I'll give you an example. See this? This is an iPhone, I guess 11 or whatever it is. The 12 is going to come out. When iPhone came out, I was like, that phone's ridiculous. I've got my Trio. I'm good. That's nonsense. Then someone said, you got to get BlackBerry. I was like, what? What the hell's a Raspberry? He goes, no, BlackBerry. It's got the ball on it, right? Read the screen on the face.
Yep.
And that was all the rage. All the rage. And then
Yep.
I had the touchstone screen, whatever it is. And people are always like, the information, the technological side, it's never going to get better. And what's happened over the last 10, 11 years? It's exploded, right? I know my brother's taking himself in the ass because when we were 13 years old, he got a little stock, a little tiny stock called Apple. And if he had held on to the shares, I can't even imagine.
Wow.
Because nobody thinks that things are going to happen, things are going to change. You have to stay on top of it. And that's what I've done in my side of the short sale side. Wow. So that's why I love dealing with people like yourself. We've been talking over the last 7 months. People are going into hibernation. People are retiring from real estate. Or, people are just like, you know what? I love this one. I'm going to ride it out and I'm going to wait for COVID to be over. I got news for you. If you're not watching or listening to any aspects of social media, I'm not talking about fake news. I'm talking about the real reports on what's going on. And you think you're going to ride this thing out?
Yep.
You're going to bankruptcy. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's a shame. And I said back when we first started, like the agents who thought it was an accomplishment to get on a Zoom meeting, they're the problem. Like they're literally an issue with me. I take issue with it. And they were upset with me because I said that, right? Or I said, if you poke at your phone with one finger, you're part of the problem. Because I look at it like the generation that we are catering to, this purchasing generation that's incredibly informed, mission driven. I love it. Like I love everything about them because they're not like our parents. Get a bigger house, do bigger things, do this, do that. These people are about mission. They're about the things that matter, right?
Yeah.
But you're not catering to them because you don't know how to market to them, because you're not acting like them. The people who go, I think cell phones are the worst thing that ever happened. I'm like, I traveled 200 days a year for 17 years, and I did homework with my kids via FaceTime. It brought me to my children when I would have never had that option. So tell me that's the worst device on earth. I said, it all depends on how you use it.
Well, they also say, it's funny because they're also like, they're also almost like, so how do I say this? I love the people that have the flip phones. My mom still has a flip phone. My mother-in-law has a flip phone, and I hear them on the phone. Don't text me. I don't know how to text. I don't have a phone that texts, whatever. Or the HD TV, the smart TV sets or whatever. And they're like, I don't want that. All I want is a phone that I can open up and I can talk on. I want a TV that I could turn the TV on and the TV works.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, those years are gone. That technology is going to be a dinosaur. You have to figure out some shape or form. I know Razer, I don't know if it came out or not, but they have the flip down Razer smartphone.
Yeah.
When it has the whole big phone on or whatever it is. The technology is always going to change. Circumstances are always going to change. You're in a situation, and I hate to say it, and there's no other way to say it except it's life.
It's a fixed mindset. It's a fixed mindset.
You're going to evolve, or you're going to not, and you're just going to die.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Agree.
I think COVID-19 is honestly, and you can take whatever it's worth, and I know it's probably going to upset a lot of agents. I think COVID-19 has really put you on the map because you're blowing doors off people that don't understand. Now, a different way for people to look at it is, and I don't know if you're hiring or not, and I'm putting this out there, people should be like, hey, Glenn, can I call you? Can I ask you a question? Or, hey, Glenn, are you hiring? Like, are you still speaking with people? Like, if somebody wants to talk to you, are you still talking to them?
Yeah, so I actually put the brakes on it in August because life just became bedlam as we were getting so inundated with stuff. I'm back talking to folks. I don't talk to anyone, but to actually bring people on the team, I invest quite a bit into the team members. So I wanted to make sure that we fully exercised what was going on with the existing team members first. They deserve that. And now I think there's so much structure. Like I have a video library. I record all the videos of what I do, whether it's a Facebook post, whether it's here's how you get a Zillow review. I don't sit and post those all over the internet, but I post them for us to use because I do so much training. When you join a brokerage, a lot of them will have like a training that's 2 days a week, 1 day a week, whatever it is. It's how to be an agent and stuff. But it's not the brass tacks of how do you make an impactful Facebook ad? How do you market when you get a house? How many posts do you have? You should have 12 by my book on every listing you have. And most people just put up new open house, come see me on Sunday. I don't know about you, Matt, but I've never woken up on a Sunday and be like, oh, Glenn has an open house and he said he's going to be there. I'm going to go. That's just silliness, right? You have to have a call to action that really works, opposed to, oh, I'm Glenn, come see me at an open house. That just doesn't work. It's lame marketing. And unfortunately, what most realtor feeds look like, right? But then on the other hand, I have to tell you, like, I have an agent in my market, and she's an older agent. She is killing it. Absolutely like I hold her in such high regard. She does big dollar transactions, super digital. She hires people to do a lot of it. She's just the voice of it. She's doing everything right. Like I think she's like the best agent in the marketplace here because she's actually doing the right thing, and she didn't cater to this I'm never going to change. And I won't say her name, but hopefully she sees the video and she'll call me because she knows I talk very highly of her.
Well, then if I were you, I would take this video, cut it up, and put that specific spot in it. Say, hey, I just want to let you know I gave you an anonymous shout out on Facebook.
Yeah. And she, like me, came from corporate, had some background. She's been in the industry a little bit longer than me, but she does all the right things. Just does great stuff. And that's why, like, sure, I don't want to call it beating on, but I'll do this dinosaur stuff right all the time. And the reality is, you have a choice whether you want to be the future or not. And if you don't want to be and you want to wind it down, all I can say is that I know who the generation that's buying is now, and I want to take hold of as many of them as I can, so that and that day when I sail off into the sun and don't do this anymore, they're lining up to give me a eulogy because they still remember me.
I'll definitely go before you, so you'll have to come and say hello to me. So I'm trying to figure out which question I want to ask you next.
I'm looking out of the corner of my eye. I just got a review in from someone that I sold a house for on Zillow, and it's like, wow, almost tears you up.
Go ahead, read it. What's it say?
It says there's not enough stars on any scale to truly describe the excellence that Glen Baker is. Glen is one of the most incredible realtors you've ever met. He's a master at digital marketing and expert at real estate and all aspects of the housing construction. If you ever encounter an issue in a home, he can immediately diagnose and accurately assess the cost to fix everything. And it goes on and on. It's really cool. And they said the best part was at the end, trust me when I say to work with him is one of the greatest gifts, and prepare yourself to be amazed beyond your wildest imagination. Really cool. I love that stuff.
Guys, my guest today is Glen Baker, Morris. What is it? What's the name of your group?
Morris Agent Corp.
Morris Agent Corp.
And our DBA is Morris Agent Team because everyone has teams, right?
Morris Agent Corp, Morris Agent Team. If you have any questions or concerns and you're looking to change the aspect of your business and maybe you want to join Glen's team, I don't know, reach out to Glen directly. It's September and he's a full force hustle right now. You can reach Glen at 973-727-8539. Again, his direct number is 973-727-8539. I love these guys that come on here and they don't want to put their cell phone on here because they're worried that it's going to ring. My thing is that when things get crazy, like when they get crazy, I'll forward my call. I mean, if I can't answer, I have to forward the call. So I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, you always have to be in touch, and I have a toll-free number because, believe it or not, we actually get phone calls 11, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, and I want to have accessibility. Does the 800 number always work for people? No, but at least have it there. I don't mind paying for it because, it's about helping people. So it's about being in touch and staying relevant. When I ask you this question, and I'm not sure how you can answer this or not, and only because I know how long you've been doing real estate. What would you say is your best real estate story that you can share that is appropriate?
Positive, I guess. Like everyone, no one wants to hear about bad deals, right? Good ones.
Give us a bad deal and give us a positive deal.
All right. So a positive deal. I had a house in the town that I live in. It was a house that was on the busiest intersection there was. It was a 4-way competitive deal. I was out visiting my son in Indianapolis. And I got a message on Facebook Messenger saying, "Hey, I'd like you to come out and meet and potentially list my house." I didn't know at that point I was up against 3 other incumbents that were pretty big names in the area. So I came in. I said to them, first of all, I want you to know I don't come in with a contract on the first meeting ever. I don't believe in pressured sales. I don't believe in that nonsense. So we met, talked about their house, their goals, where they wanted to go, health, everything to do with everything. And then I said, great, I got a view of the house. I'll come back with my marketing plan, which would be specific to your house. I come back with that marketing plan. A couple weeks goes by and they said, you won. Now, I didn't know all the details of who they interviewed and what they interviewed until after the fact. But I put the house up for an amount that was nowhere near what all the other agents said. The other agents were close to $50,000 off. And they wanted to sign that night and put a sign out on the front lawn where I didn't, right? Ends up that we had a slow go. Last November, October were miserable months. And all of a sudden, early this year hits right before COVID. And we're starting to get some more activity. And I started to run Facebook ads. And they were targeted ads towards veterans and things like that I knew would be very attracted to this type of home. And I do a lot of homes for heroes. So my ads to have some kind of veteran, fire, and police association, things like that to it. It ends up that we find someone who lived in Puerto Rico. He wanted to buy the house because it was across from a YMCA, and he didn't have to pay property taxes because he was a disabled veteran. So it was in his price range. Literally targeted. Now, there were some home inspection issues that came along with the veterans one, and the homeowners were pretty upset because they didn't want to invest again, and they kind of had their head around the number that I got, which was an awesome number. I have realtors coming up to me going, "How did you get that amount for the house?" Because they were so surprised at the amount. And I said, market, spend a little money marketing, right? Well, sure enough, the home inspection items, I said to them, I have a contractor coming out on Thursday. He's going to do it. Don't worry about it. And all of a sudden, they came down and were totally cool. We ended up closing. Because of COVID, I had a beer with them at a hotel in a courtyard to say goodbye. And I can tell you they're lifelong friends. I can't wait to get down to Florida to see them again. And they said I was part psychologist because they call up and text and be F this, F that, F this. And then all of a sudden they felt at the end of the call, like, it's all going to be okay. Glen's got this, It was a really sweet, they're friends, right? And they made donations on my behalf for things like I shoveled their driveway. I put a chimney cap on for them and stuff like that. And they made donations to 11th Hour Rescue, which I'm pretty involved with. So it was like a double whammy. Total good stuff.
Glen, do you think you're going to become a minister?
I am spiritual, not religious, I can assure you. So no.
Right. I mean, why not? I mean, it's fun because people always like joking around and say, jack of all trades, master of none. You really are jack of all trades, and you are a master of all.
I can't have babies myself, though. That's the thing. But I look at it very simple. Right? I used to put up on when I got divorced because life is terribly imperfect. And I used to put on my kids' doors a quote that said, "What will you remember about me?" And I said that whatever you do to any other human being or any other person, make sure that the answer is going to be positive. So that's how I live my life. And end of discussion. I mean, sadly, probably I do more than I should for others because I kind of don't hold grudges. So if someone screws me, I just keep moving along, and it's all windshield, no rear view mirror. So, but it is what it is. If it's good for me, and generally it's good for others, I'm all in.
That's good stuff. And I want to bring up one point, and then we're going to dive into something that I don't know if you really want to talk about, but I know your personality, so I think you'll dig deep. So first off, let's talk about this. Um, we've known each other for a while. You've come to pretty much all my classes.
Yeah.
I want to ask you your personal opinion, and I know I'm going to put you in a hot seat on this. Your thoughts of what my company does, Real Estate Recovery Group, and also the training aspect. You know, coming from a Fortune 400, what was your company?
We were in the Fortune 5. Yep.
In a Fortune 500 company. So you were a Fortune 500 company owner, and you got, you were able to take, some of the classes. What's your impression on what my company offers for the education side and also for the negotiation side?
So I mean, I was fortunate, well, unfortunate or fortunate enough that my first real estate transaction ever was a short sale. And that taught me that you can't really predict what transactions you're going to get into. But I could tell you that I didn't get any valuable information from anyone that was local. I couldn't get everyone said, I'll talk to this person. They've done a short sale, or this person. And it just didn't work for me. So I like to come from a position of knowledge. I have a tendency to go down rabbit holes and research things until like all night long, 24 hours a day. And when I came across you through Sean Zine, he said, here's someone you need to meet. Like, your mission's the same, and you're going to like the knowledge that comes from it. And after I attended your course, I'll tell you, we called it CPA in the business world. We cut, paste, and assemble. And I cut, paste, and assemble your checklist into my .loop checklists. So essentially, when I build out document libraries for short sales, I use your information to do so. And that's so I don't miss things. If I don't have one of the pieces because it's not required, that's all cool. But at least I have it on the list so I never forget it. So I use that pretty intensively. And then I think on the other side, I do buy side stuff a lot more than I do sell side stuff on shorts. And if you're doing a buy side one, you want to use those things to ask the other agent questions to make sure that they're actually competent, because you can't close if you have an incompetent agent on the other side, because they're not going to do the right things. And so it's I have a questionnaire that I've created from your questions to make sure that that person has their ducks in a row. Because if I go back to a buyer, we're changing overall our branding, and the branding is no surprises ever. And it's the most simple words, but it says, I'm competent, I'm looking out for you, I'm not going to let you be surprised because I'm going to educate you, right? And when I look at the questions that I ask realtors on the buy side, when I go back to my client, I say, look, I have a good confidence level that this agent has their shit together. And I can say that to them with because of the list that I've taken from your classes.
That's great. That's pretty good testimonial. I appreciate that, Glen. And I appreciate the fact that I know people have asked you about my company, my services, and all you've said was kind words. So I do appreciate that as well. I want to talk about this next topic. And you had mentioned in the beginning of it how COVID-19 was something that you don't take lightly, and that you lost how many people? 7 people to COVID?
To COVID.
All right. Tell everybody about the suicide awareness training that you're sponsoring, but you're also teaching it.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about it, because I got to tell you, I mean, when you told me about it, I was obviously blown away about it. And I know that you had posted something about, I guess there was a dog that was in need or something, whatever it is. And I made a donation in my company name. Mm-hmm. Everybody always hits you up. They're always looking for donations, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You never really see any follow through. When I saw the pop up, I whipped open my thingamajig, whatever, one of my corporate cards, and I sent the donation in, because you're an action taker. I mean, you're talking about suicide awareness training. You're sponsoring, but you're also teaching. Tell us what's going on.
So I'll give you the backstory to why it's so personal, and clearly during COVID it's bad, right? I'm a fireman, right, and a volunteer fireman, and we've in my past years we've seen very, very few suicides or things that we got involved with them. In this 1 year, really 7 months since COVID, we've had 5 instances. So if it tells you where the mental health of the United States is going, you can't take away that contact. You can't take away the care and love for people and think that we're all going to be okay, because it's not. Right. So my background is that in 2017, I had my sister-in-law over, and she had some odd idiosyncrasies in her personality, and I think we lost you.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm letting you go. You go.
So we had some idiosyncrasies in her personality, and we had 5 awesome days in the backyard in the pool. She opened up. We did great. We had an awesome time, and she went back home to New Hampshire and took her life 2 days later. And you would have never. Well, I would have never suspected it, and that was 2017. Fast forward to 2018. I'm on one of the best vacations of my life with my son in northern Canada. And I get back. We had no cell phone signals, only satellite phones for outbound emergencies. My son says, "Your wife, Liz, needs to talk to you right now." She got on the phone and she said, "Your sister, Wendy, is dead." So I find out that ultimately she had all of her arrangements in her apartment made in advance. And she took her own life as well. So then you fast forward again to the year of 2019, February 28th. And I get a phone call while I just got out of a listing appointment. I was in my car cruising up Route 80, and it was a frantic call from my son saying that my sister Nadine tried to take her life, and she's in bad shape. I got to the hospital and she passed away. So over the course of really 3.5 to 4 years, 3 people, 2 sisters and 1 in-law, took their lives to suicide. And I said, I'm going to figure something out to do something effective for this. And I reached out to lots of things. And I have to tell you, I love suicide awareness lines. I'm not saying anything bad about them. I just believe that it need to be at a more grassroots level. I need to hit the ground running and do something one-on-one. And some of it's for me, some of it's to make sure that I can have that one-on-one interaction with folks. So what I did was I reached out and looked at all these different forums. I reached out to some very good public resources to try to figure out what to do. And ultimately I landed on a company called QPR. And what QPR does, it's like a takeoff of CPR, but it's question, persuade, and refer. And the training's about 1 hour to 2 hours long. I'm certified to do it. And what I'm doing is I'm offering that training for free for as long as my legs will stand. So my goal for this year is to do roughly 400 people, both virtual and online. I've aligned with a local YMCA. The town of Boonton is going to be publishing it. And also the Boonton Fire Department is allowing us to use their bays to do the training and administer it to anyone that will listen. So the way I put it is, it's a free training. It could save a life. It's called Ask a Question, Save a Life. We are not equipped to listen and hear certain clues. Like I can't tell you how many times, like my kids when they're younger are like, "Oh, well, you can have my room in a week." Well, that is not something that you should be taking lightly, but we often do because we don't understand that that is something to talk about. But then on the other hand, you can't take that statement and go, "You're not going to commit suicide, are you?" Because the reality is there's no way you're getting a yes to that answer. And all you're doing is putting them on the defensive and they're going to close back up. So I have done a ton of research on it. I am not a clinician. All I am is a person that's trying to give people tools to get the people right at your disposal to someone that can really help them and know how to do that without making people run away and potentially take their own life.
So basically what you're doing is you're basically point A and you're really getting the point Z safely.
That's what I want to do. And we don't know. Well, look, we don't talk about. Remember 10 years ago when someone had cancer, you're like, "Hey, she had cancer." Like no one talked about it openly. And now, like suicide is the real deal. Mental health is the real deal. We're not all perfect. Life isn't perfect, and there's lots of times we're down. But one bad day doesn't define us, right? And if you make a bad decision on that day, you won't have the chance to do anything good the next. So the intent really is to equip everyone to hear certain terms that could put people at risk, and then convince them to get help effectively. Don't isolate them. Don't have them go run away from you. Get them to a referral source that can really help. And what I do is I lay out the questions, I lay out the persuasion, and then I lay out how you get that referral to the people that can help.
At the end of the live, put the link in there because I'm sure there are some people that are upset, that are wandering, that maybe they know somebody who might be in trouble, and maybe they're ashamed to say, "Hey, look, take a look at this link," or maybe they're actually in trouble themselves and they're afraid to reach out to people and they don't want stuff on their Google. Who knows? People, they're strange like that. I mean, there's ways of cleaning off a browser so you can't see what they're doing. I mean, my 17-year-old son is proof of that. If you go his computer or on his cell phone, he'd be like, "Wow, this kid doesn't Google anything."
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing that he cleans his browser makes his mom and I think, "Wow, what is he Googling?"
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
He's a teenager. We know what he's Googling.
Yep.
I don't mean to make light of this situation. I'm just trying to bring some light to it, to lighten it up, because it is a very serious topic. I told you before, if there's anything that I can do to try to help in any way, obviously, I'd love to try to help. I'm actually going to tell my wife about it, because she's very involved in child advocacy,
Mm-hmm.
for anti-bullying, stuff like that. So if you don't mind, I'm going to have her actually reach out, and maybe she can say, hey, what can I do to help? And
Yeah.
I think that's important. I think people should stop running away from, oh my God, did you know he died from cancer? Oh my God, did you know he died from a drug overdose? Oh my God, did you know they're losing their house?
Yep.
It's life, and shit happens.
Yep.
And I think people should have that perspective, and they should really think about what they're saying behind people's backs and how that actually makes them look. Guys, my guest today is Glen Baker. He's a real estate agent in Morristown, New Jersey. Obviously, he does other areas in New Jersey, but he's got a main hub there, and he focuses on it. It's at the Morristown Agency Group, Morristown Corporation, right?
Morris Agent Team. Yep.
Morris Agent Team. And Glen, I loved having you on today. Is there anything you want to say before we go to anybody that's watching this, whether real estate related or somebody who needs help?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing for real estate agent wise, if you're looking for information, sources, someone to bat ideas off of, I'm absolutely always up for a coffee. We'll do coffee for sure. I think that to realtors, man, just don't get commission breath. Like, I'm seeing it a bunch in COVID, and I'm seeing a bunch of these bad behaviors for double sides of the deal. And I think it's just nonsense. It's very frustrating to someone who tries to do the right thing all the time. And someday you'll be judged, or as I say, you only have one spare tire. But the other thing is that from a causes perspective, my group certainly has some causes that we take part in, and I think that the causes are important. If you're going to call yourself a realtor and you're not embedded in communities and you're not helping communities, then I'm not really sure that you're truly catching what realty is all about, which is to be embedded, be a part of it, bring good people to neighborhoods, and make that so. And lastly is digital wins. Every single time, digital wins. So.
Glen, I appreciate you coming on. At the end of every single one of my lives, I ask the agents if they can emulate my finger point. I'd like to see if you can do it.
Oh, this is tough. I'm going to get really close, though. I'm going to go.
No.
Like in, it's out, in, out, there, in, out.
Yeah, it's horrible, dude. So
you show me.
You really are not Jack of all trades, master of all.
I'm trying to find the monitor here. There it is. It's like, but I'm like aiming the wrong way. Nah, it's not going to work.
You're a mess, dude. But I'm going to give you a 4.5 just for trying.
It's that one Russian judge every time. Damn it.
That's it. Guys, my guest today is Glen Baker. If you want to reach out to him directly regarding anything that he's talked about regarding suicide awareness and/or obviously his career path now, which is real estate, listen to what this guy has done. His last company sold for $91 million. I think he knows a thing or two. You can reach out to him direct at 973-727-8539. It's 973-727-8593. This is Matt Marinoff, Real Estate Recovery Group. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, remember, it's not a no until you get a restraining order.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye-bye.